Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Chapter 3.4 Notes. Today we are talking about applications involving percents. Our learning target today is to be able to solve equations of applications involving percents. So let's review some of the things we've already talked about. All right, example number 1 says a pair of running shoes that normally sells for $800 is marked down by 15%. Now, how do we do that? Well, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to find how much you're saving. And that's by taking the $80 and timesing it by 0.15. Be like, but Mr. Grice, we're multiplying decimals and I don't have a calculator. Toughen up. All right, let's go through this. 5 times 0, 0. 5 times 8 is 40. There you go. Now, we need to put a 0 to hold the place value. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 8 is 8. You add those numbers up, and that's the number you get. Now, remember, there are two numbers behind the decimal, so we got to do the same thing there. Okay? And this right here is our discount. You're not paying $12 for a pair of shoes that normally cost $80. That's not 15%. So, 80 minus 12. Let's do that. You got to borrow, get the 8. That turns to a 7, 6. So the total price of the new shoes is $68. All right, let's look at the next one. A hat that normally costs $60 is on sale for 40% off. Okay, let's do the same thing. 60 times 0.40. Okay, when you multiply the zeros, you're going to get 0 for everything. So let's start multiplying the 4. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 6 is 24. Add that up. Remember, there are two numbers behind the decimal. Okay, and now you're going to take 60 minus 24. Need to borrow. 10 minus 4 is 6. That turns to 5. So the new price is $36. All right, hopefully that was a good review for you guys. Now we're going to be talking about the simple interest formula. And that formula, one that you're going to need to know, is I equals PRT. Let's go through what all those letters means. I means your interest. And that's the interest that is earned. Okay. P stands for your principal. Okay. And that is the money that is invested. R stands for your rate. Okay. And that's a percent rate. And we need that as a decimal. Okay, so in decimal form. And then T stands for your time. And that should be in years. Okay, so let's take a look. If $600 is invested for 1 year and account for 4%, how much interest is being earned? So off to the side, since we've got so many variables, let's go through and label them all. $600 invested, well, that's your principal. 1 year, that's your time. 4% is that, and we want that as a decimal, so that's 0.04. Okay? And we want to know what the interest is going to be. So when we set this up, it's going to be 600 times 0.04 times 1. Okay? And you can multiply in any order. 1 times anything is whatever that number is, so we really don't need to worry about that 1. But off to the side, we do need to do 600 times 0.04. Okay? 4 times 0, 0. 4 times 0, 0. 4 times 6 is 24. Okay? Multiply the 0, you get 0, 0, 0. Add everything up. Ooh, so you're saying if I invest $600 that we're going to get $2,400 in interest? No. Okay, don't forget about that decimal. You get 24. So the interest equals $24. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, I'm going to put all my variables down to the side. If Galvin invests $1,400 for 2 years, earning 3% interest, how much will he earn? So he's investing $1,400 for 2 years at 3% interest, and that is 0.03. So interest equals the 1,400 times 0.03 times 2. Okay, you can do this in any order because right off the back, if you want to multiply those two things together, 1,400 times 2, 0.0082. So you get 2,800, and then you'd still need to multiply that by 0.03. 3 times 0, 0, 0. 3 times 8 is 24. Carry the 2. 2 times 2, or 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. And then multiply those. Those are all zeros. Add everything up. Okay, and don't forget the decimal. There are 2 numbers behind the decimal, and we got to keep that. So after all that, your interest would just be $84. Right. Let's go ahead. We're going to write these down. Let's see if you guys can pause the video and fill in all the blanks. Cool. Did you get all that? All right. Now it's up to you. I want you to pause the video, go through and solve everything. Tell me how much interest will be in the account after 1 year. Okay. Now hopefully you just didn't get $10 because at the very end it said how much money will be in the account after 1 year. Okay. So what that means is you're going to take the money that you started with and your interest, add them up, $510. A little tricky there at the end, so just make sure that you're reading all of the question. All right, let's move on to the next one. Ms. Carranza deposited $2,000 in account ending 5% interest for 1 year. And look at this, how much money will be in her account after 1 year? So we're doing the same thing as we did in the previous problem. Now, this one is going to be all up to you guys. Once you pause the video, go through, figure everything out. Remember to add at the end, and let's see what you get. All right. So you had to do 2,000 times 0.015. You get 100. You want to know how much is in it after 1 year. So then we just added the 2,000, which is what you started with, plus the interest, and you get how much money is in the account. All right. Example number 7. Now, these are some of the questions that we talked about in yesterday's notes, 3.3. So this should be a little bit of a review. Let's go through and read it. It says the state of Illinois mixes ethanol made from corn in its gasoline to reduce pollution. If a customer purchases 12 gallons of gasoline and it is 10% ethanol, how many gallons of ethanol are in the 12 gallons of gasoline? So what you're going to do is you're going to take those two numbers and you're going to multiply 12 times 0.10. Okay? Now, for hard to do that like that. We're going to go off to the side. 0, 0, pull the place value to 1, add everything up, and we have 2 numbers behind the decimal. So in the 12 gallons of gasoline, you'd have 1.2 gallons of ethanol. Okay, the key thing with these is to make sure to label your answers. Okay, next one. It says 50 ounces of 3% alcohol solution are mixed with 40 ounces of 5% alcohol solution. And it's saying how much is in the mixture. Okay, so we want to know both of those. So there's 50, and you're going to have to figure out 3%, and then there's 40 ounces with 5%. Okay, so multiply 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 5 is 15. Multiply that out, you get that, and just remember there are 2 numbers behind the decimal. So first one is 1.5. Now the second one, 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. Multiply the 0, add everything up. Remember how many numbers are behind the decimal, and you get 2. Add those 2 guys up, and you get 3.5 ounces of alcohol. And there you go. So that's going to be it for Algebra 2, Chapter 3.4 notes. If you guys have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself because we would love to help you out. Thanks for watching, guys.